The Thaipusam Piercing Festival, Malaysia and Singapore. In Malaysia and Singapore, worshippers of the Hindu god Murugan come together every year for Thaipusam. What is unique about the ceremony is the profound faith shown in the form of body piercing. Men and women pierce their cheeks and tongues with sharp skewers and carry massive kavari, metal structures weighing up to 40 kilos, connected to their skin by hooks and spears. To the outsiders, it appears painful, but to the devotee, this piercing signifies purification, perseverance, and spiritual bonding. Kanamara Matsuri, the festival of the steel phallus. Each spring, thousands gather in Kawasaki, Japan, for one of the most unusual and joyful festivals, the Kanamara Matsuri, or Festival of the Steel Phallus. Huge statues of male genitals are hauled down the streets, candies and vegetables are chiseled into phallic shapes, and there are portable shrines fashioned from iron phalluses. The origins? The festival, based on the Shinto belief, protected sex workers from sexually transmitted diseases. Today, it is practiced to promote fertility, marital bliss, and even to raise funds for HIV research. It may sound like a joke, but it's a powerful combination of tradition, spirituality, and modern awareness. Yanomami Endocannibalism, Amazon rainforest. In the depths of the Amazon rainforest, a particularly macabre form of ritual endocannibalism was practiced by a relatively large group of indigenous people. When a family member passed away, the body was cremated. Their ashes were then dissolved into a soup of bananas that the entire family drank together. This was no horror, but a love. The Yanomami tribe believed that by eating the ashes, their deceased relative was reborn in them, and in a way they guaranteed that not a spirit had gotten lost along the way. It's a ritual that mixes grieving, remembering, and surviving. Yanomami Reahu Funerary Feast, Amazon. The Yanomami believe death isn't the end. The whole village will gather again for another rite, the Reahu Feast. The cremated remains of the deceased are pounded to ashes, blended with mashed banana, and consumed at a feast that can go on for days. This ritual is meant to assist the soul on its journey to the spirit world, with love and energy from the community. A reminder that mourning isn't merely personal, it's communal, uniting people through sorrow and community. Sati. One of the most controversial customs in the history of India was that of sati. Once a man died, his widow was required to self-immolate on his funeral pyre. This cultural practice, based on loyalty and purification, was interpreted as the highest form of devotion. But in reality, dozens of widows were either convinced or coerced into it, and the ritual descended to tragedy. Sati was formally prohibited by the British Raj in 1829, after Indian reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy campaigned against it, but not before it had mentally and emotionally haunted women for centuries. Baby throwing from the roofs of temples, India. For centuries, in some parts of India, a particularly cruel ritual took place. Parents would toss their newborn children from the rooftops of temples. Babies, some only a few months old, were thrown from 30-foot heights into sheets hoisted by waiting crowds. The belief that even in the event the child lived through the fall, it would become a healthy and long-lived person. The practice is banned now, but is recalled as a bizarre alloy of faith, fear, and resourcefulness. Famadihana, Turning of the Bones, Madagascar. Every few years in Madagascar, families come together for the turning of the bones, or Famadihana. Ancestors' remains are exhumed, carefully wrapped in new silk shrouds, and hoisted high above the crowd. Music reverberates. Families dance among their ancestors, and tales of the dead are repeated. It is not morbid to the Malagasy. It is, in fact, a joyful reminder that loved ones can continue to be a part of ordinary life. It is a remembrance and a reunion, the living and the dead together in a celebration. Satere-Mawe Bullet Ant Gloves, Brazil. In the Amazon rainforest, the Satere-Mawe tribe tests their boys with an ordeal of fire without flames, the bullet ant glove. Hundreds of bullet ants, considered to inflict the most painful sting in the insect world, are sewn into the gloves with stingers facing inward. Initiates can't take the gloves off for 10 minutes, hands trembling violently with venom. And to complete their manhood, they must go through this test not once, but 20 times. What outsiders might call torture, the Satere-Mawe see as strength, courage, and identity. Scarification, Africa. In Africa, identity is etched not on the paper, but on the skin. Scarification, the ritual of cutting or burning of the skin to form permanent marks, has long been a sign of belonging, beauty, and adulthood. In South Sudan's Dinka tribe, men sport deep lines across their faces for clan identification. In Nuba villages, young women are given marks at the onset of puberty to signify their coming of age. As scarification wavers beneath the pressures of the modern day, it remains the embodiment of a living history of heritage, pain, and survival. The finger-cutting mourning ritual. Dani tribe, Papua, Indonesia. In the Baliem Valley of Papua, the Dani once practiced Ikipalin, a mourning ritual where women symbolically cut off the tip of a finger after the death of a close relative. The physical loss publicly manifests grief, a permanent scar of mourning, and loyalty to the departed. The preparation is austere, binding to reduce blood flow, then the severing and cauterization with heat or ash to prevent infection. While modern Indonesia outlaws the practice and it has declined, scars and stories remain among older generations as a living memory of grief expressed through sacrifice. Takanakuy, the Christmas Fighting Festival, Chumbivilcas, Peru. Each December 25th in Chumbivilcas, Peru, the indigenous ritual Takanakuy, literally to hit each other, lets people settle grudges in public fights. Men and women dress in colorful traditional gear, dance to Wailia music, and square off in regulated bouts. The goal is catharsis and social repair, rather than random violence. After the fights, combatants often embrace or accept the result. The community treats the ritual as a reset that clears resentment and helps neighbors coexist. Critics call it dangerous. Supporters call it tradition and local justice. Sokushinbutsu, the self-mummification of Japanese monks. In parts of northern Japan, some Shingon and Shugendo monks pursued Sokushinbutsu, a centuries-old ascetic path aimed at self-mummification. Over the years, they followed a brutal regimen, a starvation diet of roots, resins, and bark to remove body fat, ingestion of toxic herbs to deter insects, then entombment in a small chamber where they meditated till death. Surviving remains were later exhumed. Successful cases were venerated as embodied Buddhas. The practice is rare, surrounded by debate, and was banned in the modern era, a final extreme expression of renunciation and pursuit of enlightenment.